I don't feel no man, but I'ma still put 60 in this Drake. Set it off like Queen Latifah, nigga playing with my cake.
From New York, it's Saturday.
From New York. I guess we should congratulate the Knicks. It was exciting stuff.
We should.
Congrats.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. You finally won your trophy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was away. So your fans did not get that, in-person feel, but better late than never.
Better late than never.
A lot of discourse about how the Spurs didn't congratulate the Knicks. They just walked off.
Well, one of my favorite quotes is, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. So I'm not holding that against them,
I agree.
Whatever. I want to be why would I be glad about losing? I guess congratulations, but,
that it's got to be tough, especially to lose at home.
Yeah, well, we don't have to, we expect too much from people, They don't want to say congratulations. Who gives a shit?
I mean, I don't know.
Be graceful? Why?
Because you respect the game.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that TikTok I sent you where Draymond was basically like, this is so unsportsmanlike. And it's like, not the most unsportsmanlike player talking about sportsmanship. That's hilarious. Just so funny.
He is funny.
Welcome back, Pretty and Pride listeners. I'm your host, Ken.
And I'm your host, Kiki.
And by the time you all are actually watching and or listening to this, it's Juneteenth. And so we are repping our Black Pride.
Yes, my favorite holiday. I think on Juneteenth we're going to watch Sinners.
Yeah.
Yeah, big plans.
Big plans.
Go somewhere and make white people serve us, something like that.
I like that. Okay, so for today, we definitely want to get into our Tokyo Drift Watch.
I've got the notes.
But before we do that, we're going to do a quick rundown of what's been going on, which for me, the biggest thing that's been happening is the World Cup. Now, I know a lot of people in the U.S., we don't care because, first of all, there was the Stanley Cup was going on, NBA Finals going on. There was some weird fight happening at the White House. The world's on fire. FIFA's corrupt. We're treating the players like shit. But I love soccer. And we've talked about this before, but everyone keeps asking me like, oh, who are you rooting for? And it's like, okay, it's a really complicated
It's a complicated tree system of who I root for. Yeah.
It's like, okay, first of all, everyone black.
Yes.
Then it's like African nations, because Europeans and South American countries typically have always won the World Cup, I believe. I don't think any African nation has ever won the World Cup. So then it's African nations, regardless of whether there's black people. Now, I was really torn when Netherlands played Japan because that's European and Asian, which I want to root for both.
Yeah.
But the Netherlands, for me, has a lot of my Liverpool players, and they also have a lot of black people. I mean, they how Europeans identify,
Whatever.
Yeah. But Japan has a black goalkeeper.
So cool.
This is why I love the World Cup.
Yeah.
My perception of the world, I'm like, blown.
Whoa.
So I'm having a lot of fun.
Wait, for me, after it's everybody black. So it's obviously who's going to have black people like African nations. Mm-hmm. Then watching who has the most black people. Mm-hmm. Then who has the hottest people. Then who has the best uniforms.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in between there, it's like if it's a white person versus Japan, like I would normally vote for Japan.
Yeah.
But if that other a team I think would obviously white had more black people, then I'd vote for them. But then has good looking players and who has the coolest colors.
Yeah, it gets really tricky because it's like, okay, well, I'm usually never rooting for the U.S., even though the U.S. has black people, unless they're up against other countries of colonization.
Yes.
Like England or Australia
Right.
or Scotland. Well, anyways. Then I'll be like, okay, there's definitely
Spain.
more black people over there. Okay. Bottom of the list, I'm never rooting for them. In fact, I'm rooting for their demise and failure. We've got Spain. We've got Argentina.
Argentina every single time, yeah. No,
South Africa. Australia, England. I'm like, y'all are out.
Yeah.
Germany,
not really.
You're at the top of the bottom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're at the top of the bottom because you do have black people. And you kind of did this overcorrection, culturally, which I'm gonna give you props for, but yeah. Anyways. So complicated system. I don't know how to explain it to people. I just tell people right now it's the group stages. I'm just watching. I'm watching all the matches.
It's not a one-team thing. It's a per game situation.
It reminds me of the time when we were hanging out at Dad's the last time the World Cup was on. And it's like we end up falling into this a lot where we get there, we're glued to the TV. It's either Family Feud or some other random stuff. And then all of a sudden we get the whole house invested, you know. And I got my dad watching FIFA in the kitchen, like, oh yeah, I'm into it too. So
good times.
Yeah. All right. So with that, has there been anything else notable that's happened? We covered the Knicks. We've covered the World Cup.
No.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think we're ready to get into the big topic of the night, which is the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. So, wow, guys, there's quite a bit that's happening in this movie, but overarching summary, there's a kid, supposedly, and he keeps getting into trouble with racing in his American high schools, and him and his mom have to bounce from town to town to avoid accountability. And then he gets in trouble again and gets shipped off to live with his dad in Tokyo, who is a part of the military, and immediately gets into more racing trouble in Tokyo. And now there's an international crime syndicate involved, and he has to find his way out of this somehow, also through racing. So buckle up, guys. It's some good stuff. Now, do you want to talk about overarching themes first, or do you want to go through kind of sequencing the movie and some of the things that we noticed?
I feel like they'll emerge as we
sequence it.
Sequence it, yeah.
Okay, so for the first part of the movie, which I'm calling the opening sequence until he gets to Tokyo. Okay. Now, first of all, it took me a very long time to hear this guy's name. It's Sean.
Oh my God, I was wondering, what is his name?
I literally was watching it, and I was like, it must have been through part 2 that they called him Sean. I was like, whoa, okay. So the first thing I noticed is he's clearly 40 years old. Like, he is so fucking old looking. I'm like, okay. And then, you know, after you see him and he goes into his like car workshop at school, there's insane bullying happening in high school. I'm like, why is it always felony assault in these movies that's happening in their high school bullying? Like, it is crazy. But then he leaves his little workshop after watching a kid get absolutely like just railed. And he goes out into the high school parking lot where apparently the whole school hangs out. That's nice. And he runs into who you could only assume through any era of watching movies, the high school quarterback. It's not specifically stated, but you just kind of know.
He's not wearing his pads or his uniform, but yeah, it's
I think he's wearing a jersey, I thought,
yeah,
but you can just tell. And he has a really nice car. And for some reason, as soon as he sees this 40-year-old high schooler, he's immediately annoyed. And they decided they're going to get into a fight, but no, they're going to let the cars do the talking. Now,
I noticed that his accent was like asynchronous to everyone else in the movie. Like, it's so thick.
Yeah.
Alabaman. I don't even know.
You know, it's crazy as I noticed it later in the movie. As soon as he starts talking to one of the characters, it gets even deeper.
It's that's like racist. It was getting more. And more. It was like
it's more country now. Really leaning into it. And then, so as they start this race, he says, "I'm only going to race for pink slips." I'm like, "Aren't you minors? How are you racing for pink slips as children?" But instead, because the quarterback guy doesn't want to give up his dad's actual nice vehicle for the crap that guy's driving American car. The quarterback's girlfriend says, "No, you guys can race for me instead," because that's a totally normal 17-year-old conversation.
I don't understand
why in so many of these movies.
Why are these women just like, if you win a race, you get me?
And how long does this deal last? Is it a quick one and done? Is it, a prom night thing? Is it, a lifetime? You can't belong to anyone else until someone else wins a race for your body. Like, I don't understand.
I don't get it. It's clear that, like, I don't know, men must think that this is how women are just like, we just want to go with the fastest.
No, because it's like, literally calm down. Like, why did you offer that? And then she hops in her boyfriend's car and eggs him on the whole race. So this race is through a housing tract that's being built. And they just straight destroy this housing tract. I mean,
when he drove the car through the fully framed house.
Oh my gosh.
A fully framed house. No walls. Just decides I'm going to fucking
It's
go
worth
through
it.
it. I was like, what kind of decision making are these teenagers?
No.
Like, what the hell is going on?
This is like beyond your frontal lobe not being developed. This is like a literal, yeah, you should be in trouble. Like, and I mean, imagine you're like, you know how like when those housing communities get built, like you've picked a house and you've kind of designed it.
You're so happy. You're like,
Your fucking
the
house.
framing's finally out.
You're like visiting the lot. Like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be your baby's room. And so just drives their Mustang through it for a high school pootie tang type situation. It's ridiculous. So as the high school quarterback begins to lose the race, he decides he's going to make everyone crash. And so not only do they destroy this community, they destroy 2 vehicles, and they all 3 end up in the hospital. Over what? What is all this over?
No pinks were exchanged.
No pinks, no puss, no, I mean, just blood, maybe like teeth that should have been knocked out. And the police tell our main character that, hey, the 2 white people, blonde white people, they're getting out of this because their parents are connected. You're in big trouble, buddy. You're gonna be charged as an adult.
First of all, this is like your 30th race. So, yeah.
You guys just moved here and you're already in trouble. So then his mom comes in to the police station, and mind you, he looks the exact same age as his mom. Like, he looks so old. And he's looking at her dirty because she's flirting with a cop, but say what you want, his mom gets shit done, okay? She gets him out of this trouble again, and he says to her, well, where are we moving to now? Like, it's totally normal for you to fuck up your life and then fuck me, and then I have to ship you, we'll have to go and move somewhere because you've decided to race and destroy an entire community. And she says, not this time, bitch. You gotta go to Tokyo and live with your papa.
I'm gonna go see your dad.
And he looks, I mean, what a punishment. Guys, can you believe it? Can you believe that you've gotten into so much trouble and you have to go live in Tokyo? Wow. Tough times. So we move into our next sequence, which is him coming to Tokyo. And guys, you won't believe it.
Strained relationship with his daddy.
Yeah, it's another daddy issues movie. Not an orphan this time, though, so that's new. And he goes to school on his first day.
Oh my God. Okay. We need to talk about this school situation when we get there.
Actually, the first thing I want to say is, well, one, I hate his dad's apartment. I would hate to live there. But 2, his dad says the rules are he goes to school and he comes home and nothing else. I'm sorry. I'm living in Tokyo. I'm not doing that. You know, that's an insane rule. So he goes to school. I did notice the school lunch looks amazing. Like,
okay. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. They're eating over there.
Yeah,
okay.
It looked like tasty treats. And you had said that he goes to this school, this Japanese school, by the way, fully speak Japanese.
They don't speak a lick of English to him. And
no.
It's not like they're teaching him literary classics in English. I'm like, how is he learning anything? How is he getting any grades?
Terrible grades.
There's
Terrible
no
grades
way.
for sure.
There's no way.
And the first friend he meets is Bow Wow, whose name is Twinkie. Wow.
Twink for short.
Wow.
Twink for short.
Don't let them play you like that, Bow Wow. Why would you let them do that?
I couldn't believe it.
And so, of course, I
want to talk about the uniforms that he has to wear to school reminded me of like these 80s style Japanese high school uniforms where it's like you wouldn't know this reference, but there's an Yu Yu Hakusho where it's like just totally like ruffian type bullying. There were so many tropes and stereotypes in the Japanese students, in the Japanese culture. I struggled a lot, and we'll talk about the one that I really struggled with when we get there. But yeah, his first day of school, he arrives and realizes you're supposed to take your shoes off when you go to school in Japan and like wear like the indoor shoes. You don't wear your outdoor shoes. Okay, those are clean people over there.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Not you dirty Americans coming over here.
Yeah,
and bringing
they were
all the
just
dirt
cleaning
inside.
up of the World Cup stadiums. Apparently, they do that a lot when they play. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, you wear different shoes in the bathrooms than you wear around the house, and like also you don't wear your outside shoes around your house. So it was, that's his first embarrassment, that he doesn't understand Japanese and he doesn't understand this custom.
Nothing about the culture.
But apparently they had shoes ready for him.
So he meets his first friend, and upon meeting a black guy, his accent gets 100 times worse. That's what I noticed. I'm like, somehow that's racist for sure. Because why is it now? It's like, no. Like, how is it even worse? Bow Wow. Oh,
Bow Wow
also
drives a green, what I can only call a Toyota Scion that has a Hulk design.
Yeah.
It's like this
like the Scion XB.
It's like this boxy car. It's a pretty cool
It's
car,
actually really
honestly.
cool.
Yeah.
But Bow Wow also sells stuff. Hawks it.
Yeah.
Another racist trope.
Again,
100%.
this
100%.
frickin' movie.
And his first day of school, guess what he gets into, guys? Guess what happens? He goes to his little car club and gets into a race. I'm like, that's insane. First day, already breaking all the rules.
Apparently, everyone in this high school races or is affiliated with racing culture of Tokyo.
And that's all they do.
Like, I don't know how they chose this high school.
Mom couldn't have made a worse decision. We got to put that TikTok in. We got to remember to put it in. It's so funny.
I wanted you to send it to me. That's what I was prompting you for.
I've sent it to you before. I'll send it to you.
I wanted you to send it to me again. I could not find it.
Also, this is a small moment, but as soon as Bow Wow shows him his car, he says, well, at least let me drive. And I said, I know you ain't letting a nigga drive your car, especially one that don't even know this town. They don't play you like that.
He doesn't even have an international license.
I mean, he just moved here. You let him drive around Tokyo?
He definitely cannot still have his American license.
No
There's
way.
no way.
Okay, so at this car club, he's found a girl that he likes, so they're just talking normal until her boyfriend comes up, and then she just plays his ass over and over again. But her boyfriend's name is DK-san. And DK-san is DK Sexy. And we also run into the beloved character, Han, at this point. Yep. So I noticed, Asians are hot again. You know, just like in the first movie. It's like, damn, every time an Asian's on the screen, hot.
Really good looking representation.
Exactly. And then he says some bullshit American stuff. He says, isn't this a free country? Oh, don't bring that US shit here, okay? We don't play that. And
it was very much giving, like, I move in the world without any self-awareness or consciousness that other people also have moved in the world well before me.
Right. No, well, is this I'm like, oh,
I couldn't imagine. I can't fathom, I can't relate. Clearly good.
I know I don't know your language and nothing about your customs or culture, but I'm going to assume I know something about it.
And also, shouldn't you be adapting to me in a way?
So
be so for real.
He wants to race. And he doesn't have a car naturally.
He ain't got a car.
So Han is so cool and says, he could take mine. Oop, and tosses his key just like that. But much cooler. Much cooler than that. And we learned that DK stands for Drift King. Okay. And
we learned that?
Yeah. Bow Wow says that.
Oh my God. I missed that entirely.
Because now he's going to race the Drift King. And he knows nothing about drifting. But, you know, he's got, what is it? All that caucasity. Yeah, he sure has got gumption. Once again, we see the sluttiest race world. I just don't get it. I will never get it. And
never fathom.
They start a race, and guess what he does?
It's in like a parking garage.
So there's a
lot of turns. Mm-hmm. Now he's used to just blowing through houses and just going
concrete
straight.
Here.
Yeah. He's not used to having to turn the car.
No.
At sharp angles and velocities.
He decides to he ends up destroying even more property in a new country. Just destroying so many other people's cars, including Han's.
This guy gave me this car. He's just crashing left and right into all these other cars too. Like not
almost
just
killing people. And then at the very end, DK-san goes up this ramp, like this, one of these swirly ramps, and drifts all the way up, and it was super cool. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
And then even though he's already lost the race, he still starts doing all that up the ramp. I'm like, why are you doing all that? You already lost. Just crashing the car even more to the very end. I'm like, this guy sucks. Like, it's so disrespectful. I'd be pissed. You're like 5 minutes behind, and you're still crashing my car? Like, what's wrong with you?
No regard for property, people, nothing.
So the next sequence is his first day back at school after losing the race, which is his second day of school, by the way, and how he's going to learn how to drift. Clearly, because he's destroyed Han's car horribly, he owes him money. So Han, who's not in high school, by the way, but just lurks outside of the high school.
Just hanging out with these high school kids.
Hanging out with them the whole movie and just standing outside this high school. We don't know what Han does with his day. Says, come with me You're gonna give me that money you owe me, basically. And he starts to show him the ropes. You know, they start to form a bit of an unlikely friendship, and they end up going to this like Tokyo club. And I thought, wow, that's a lot going on for a school night. You know, like it's just so much happening.
I mean, Han is like moving it's like, you know that experience. It's like when you're in high school, you're hanging out with someone who's graduated maybe like 10 years ago, and you're like, I should not be hanging out with this person.
Totally.
So you're just doing stuff that you really shouldn't be doing. You have no business hanging out with this person.
You know, and then somehow you figure out that in this sequence, it's not a lot's happening, except for you're figuring out that like Han has some sort of orphanage in his car shop where a lot of people live.
All the high school students that race.
And he's like reffing soccer games that they're rec league playing on top of a building. And I'm like, why are they so involved? Why is he so involved? But ultimately, this is the point.
He can't trust adults, you know. He can only trust
the youth. This is where you learn. This is where the main character Sean learns how to drift. And you know, Han talks about his racing theories. He doesn't race because like, what's the point? Unless like you were like racing for a purpose. And like, they become close friends after this.
Yeah, Han gives a speech at some point that, I mean, knowing what we know now and like watching all the movies, Han is giving very much like the Dom ethos of like character matters in people. He gives some speech to Sean about like, you know, what does it matter if I like lose, you know, thousands of dollars on a car because I have money. Like it's finding people with like good quality character that I can trust. That's like hard for him. And it's like hearkening to what but it's also just like, sir, this is a 17-year-old high school kid that
and it
you
kind
met
of comes
2
out of
days
nowhere.
ago. Like,
yeah.
So even though they're developing this bond, it's kind of like, what happened that's got Han thinking like, you know, I need to find quality people among the high school youth.
Well, I guess the first reason that he's teaching him the drifting is because he has bet DK-san for a car. So that part maybe I gotta teach that if he could get this guy to win in a race against one of DK-san's people, then they'll get a car. But it's not really adding up. Anyways, the next sequence is he moves out of his dad's house. And
he's tired of the rules he wasn't listening to anymore.
He's tired of the 3 days worth of rules that he never followed to begin with. And decides to go live in Han's shop. And he does win that race against...
that guy had a full-on conniption fit.
Yeah.
Like a full-on conniption fit.
No, it's supposed to be embarrassing to lose to the 3-day new guy. You know, like, yeah. And he's still pursuing his little classmate. I think her name's Mila. I wrote that down, but then they called her something else later.
I don't know.
Who does it? But she's technically, I guess, DK-san's girlfriend / adoptive sister.
Yeah.
And she's apparently lived in Tokyo her whole life, and her mom died when she was 10, who was from Australia. And yet she has maintained this Australian accent well into her life. And I'm like, why does she have this accent? Her accent makes no sense in what she's explaining her life. And they start bonding. They go through a nighttime drift ride.
Yeah, she knows how to drift.
She knows how to drift, and she has a cool crew of gals also drifted up this mountain with her. And they're talking about, life and how cool it is to race.
To, be an outcast, even though you're Japanese, but not Japanese.
And you're actually hot and dating the hottest guy, most powerful guy in school. So yeah, everyone fucking hates you. No, I don't. Anyways. And then DK-san finds out, she tries to end it. And he says, your mom's a slut and you would be one too if it weren't for me. And I said, ooh, love by force and insults. That's new. And so, but what happens here is what you really learned and what you probably picked up before, but we skipped, is that DK-san is powerful because his uncle is in the Yakuza. And him and Han are running business together. And you don't really know what this business is. Probably shaking down grannies. And his uncle comes to visit him. Ooh, he's shaking in his boots. That's good acting.
We need to talk about this.
Okay.
Because first of all, why is Han giving a speech about, you really just got to have, good character people around you, but he's involved in this shady business with a high school student.
Well, that's why he's people good character. He's the only one allowed to be shady.
Bro, you're not setting yourself up. Mm-hmm. Okay, we need to talk about the uncle showing up. Okay, so we've been hearing about DK and his uncle being in the Yakuza. Okay. This is the first time I literally laughed out loud because this man shows up to what I can only call a back room of a garage.
Yeah.
With all his Yakuza footmen entering in before him. And he's wearing a full white, like pimp suit. Like a white coat, a white vest with a white, all white, and he has the hat.
What was that guy's name? Frank, an American Gangster?
American Gangster.
Yeah, 1970s gangster style.
This is the most, first of all, listen, I don't know a Yakuza personally, okay? So I'm not an expert. But I have to believe, number one, the uncle's too important to just go down there with his entire crew to just have a conversation with his nephew.
Yeah.
Number two, he's not wearing the most obvious uniform of a stereotypical Yakuza to just go shake this nephew down. My understanding was that it'd be a little more subtle, like, okay, we're going to go have sushi at this nice restaurant, and I'm going to tell you about how you're being, fleeced by this guy. No. This man shows up as a full fucking Yakuza stereotype. And it just becomes more ridiculous because it's like, why is this man who's supposedly really powerful, like, lowering himself in this way?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. What also pissed me off about the stereotypes that they leaned into was that what I really wanted them to lean into was like, show me the tats.
Show me the bathhouse. Look like he had any tats.
Show me the bathhouse. Because if you're telling me you're grooming your nephew to join the Yakuza, where's his ink?
I didn't think he was being groomed to join the Yakuza, honestly. I thought he was being... I don't even know what I thought. I guess, yeah, it makes sense.
Why would his uncle even give a shit about what his books look like if he's not trying to get, bring him into this criminal underworld?
I thought it was just that anyone who runs business in his turf got to give him a cut of the money.
Even if it's his nephew?
Yeah. Of course if it's his nephew, especially if it's his nephew.
Well, I feel like if you're going to run business, like, you're part of the business.
Yeah.
You're like, especially his family.
But remember his uncle said, you was just robbing little tea houses before I let you in the big dogs. So maybe, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Anyhow,
now,
I thought his entrance was the most ridiculous thing, and it just never stopped being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
And his uncle visits and says, your boy Han, he's screwing us over. We talked about this. You say he thinks he's cutting off the top. When DK confronts Han, I thought he mentioned that Han was running some separate side businesses that they weren't giving him a piece of. Long story short, though, he shows up to Han's orphanage/car shop and points a gun at him. He's gonna kill him for doing this because you can't do that to him and his uncle.
Now Han real sexy. He looked unfazed. Gun to his face. He's like,
in the Boy Scouts? The fuck?
What you pointing that little toy at me for?
Yeah. So then they cause a distraction and everyone hops in a car and starts driving away, which is ridiculous because ultimately he still knows where you live. So like,
where are you going?
Running now doesn't solve anything for later. But something awful happens. And in this race sequence,
spoiler alert,
Han dies. He flips his car. So, they're racing through the streets, almost hitting people. Someone T-bones him. It flips, lands, starts fire, explodes. So where does this put our main character, Sean, you ask?
He goes to his daddy's house.
He goes to his dad's house. Smart move, actually, because...
You're well in over your head.
Yes. And DK shows up immediately and draws a gun. And his dad draws a gun on DK. And everyone says, calm down, calm down. You take your little girlfriend, okay? My son stays here. And his dad, being the only somewhat reasonable person in all of Tokyo right now, says, we gotta put you on a plane. And you gotta get out of here. And he says, no, I've got to clean up my mess. What mess is that?
Oh my God.
I've yet to realize. I don't know what the mess is. Is the mess
that DK's pissed at Han, who's now dead?
That DK's pissed at you because you keep trying to take his girl? So
you're trying to become a drift king? I don't know.
And so he says, I got to do this, Dad. This being a race.
So this is the next most ridiculous scene. I went on like a 15-minute rant about this scene. Because Sean, first of all, why he showed up at his dad's house becomes unclear because Sean leaves immediately after his girlfriend leaves. I guess maybe he was thinking, I'll hide you here, but Apparently that wasn't good enough because DK knew exactly where he lived.
Yeah, the only other white guy in all Tokyo, probably.
So, leaves his dad's. Goes to see Twink. Twink gives him a backpack that is filled with what I can only assume is like 2 stacks, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 stacks of whatever money Han had been fleecing. And gives it just freely to Sean. Like, oh, you know, they're all trying to get out of here. They're like, we're leaving. We're getting out of this joint. Sean's like, oh, I got to figure it out.
No, Sean says, I know what to do. I'm going to go approach the Yakuza as a 17-year-old white kid.
Yeah. So Twink gives him this backpack, and this is where we cut to Sean in what I can only assume is, what is that district in Tokyo?
It's
Yeah, it's next to Shibuya. Kabukicho. Okay, anyways. Cut to Sean takes this backpack and goes to an alley where every stereotype of a Yakuza from 1973 to today, well, I guess this movie was in 2008. So from 1973 until 2008, I'm talking the slick back greaser hair, the bats, they're all just lining an alley. And he's like, taking his little backpack, I need to see the boss. Bitch, police.
With his 3 stacks of cash. Every time they look in the bag, they say, let him pass.
Yeah. Okay, then he goes into the door, and what is this? It's some nightclub that's like formal dining arrangements because there's no music, there's no like jazz performer, there's no food on this table, but people are sitting at tables, and the uncle is sitting in a corner booth, and DK and his girlfriend are there. She's in a nice red dress. They're on a date. Nice dress. I'm like, what is going on in this movie? And he's like, here's the money that Han owes you. I know that's yours. I think that the only way we can fix this is if I race your nephew.
Yeah, so it's the classic racer to international crime syndicate pipeline. And if the outcome is that you leave town, if you lose this race, why don't you just leave town? like your dad said. So they're going to race for who gets to stay in town.
Again, just the idea that Japan, Tokyo is a ginormous city. Is it being advertised somewhere that this is where the uncle's Yakuza base is?
And why is this? I guess I don't even understand the basis of the problem. They don't like each other straight over a girl. And now Han's dead, who was stealing money, which is what the uncle wanted. So what's the actual problem? Why can't everyone just move on with their lives?
I don't know.
I don't
know.
Clearly he's not going to do anything to the son or to the nephew because of his uncle. So it's like, can you just transfer schools or something? But they're going to race down a scary mountain. And DK's the only one that's ever survived drifting down this mountain. But in order to prepare for this race, he needs a car because the cops took off on his car. So what happens? The natural progression of things is his dad gives him a car. I was like, if I was his mom, I'd be so fucking pissed. What the fuck? I sent him here to get him out of trouble. It has been 2 weeks and he's never been in more fucking trouble. What is wrong with you? And now you're supporting him in his race for honor and staying in town dream when you could just send him literally anywhere else. Honestly, he does need to go to jail. He does need to go to jail. So I was like, that's crazy. So they, polish up this car. They get it ready for the race. And spoiler alert, well, first of all, his uncle shows up to this high school race.
Because his uncle has nothing else going on.
Crazy.
Other than to see the outcome of this race.
Which one of these 17-year-olds is allowed to stay in town?
I don't know. He's bringing his all his henchmen with him. And what the man who calls, who does the, okay, it's time for you guys to race, missing 4 fingers. You made 4 mistakes? You made 4 mistakes to lose 4 fingers? Or maybe your mistakes were so grave that you had to lose 2 at once. I don't know. But I'd be so pissed. I'm like, I'm excited for this nonsense.
He's like, again, it's probably school night. I don't know what these kids are doing.
And they're watching the race on their flip phones, which are sending a video feed to each other at different points on the track.
Yeah. I guess they want to see the actual outcome. Or they don't want to wait for that.
Some people are waiting at the end, but it's like, they want to know, who's taking the lead at this turn? Who's taking the lead at this turn?
It's a close race. DK's really getting it. And then, long story short, Lucas Black, aka Sean, wins, but not before ramming DK off a cliff. He tumbles. And then as he goes to pull up to the win, DK crashes onto him, but he avoids it and then coasts to the win. And then the uncle walks up and he says, we're good here.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, why the fuck would I want to be in a town where a known Yakuza gangster knows my name, doesn't like me, and I've just kicked his nephew out of town after stealing his girlfriend? Why are you trying to stick around? I feel like there's no way you're staying out of trouble. First of all, you're already in so much trouble. You're definitely getting involved with the Yakuza, but not in a cool way. And then now, flash to the end.
Cut two.
He's kind of cool now. He's back in the parking garage car races, the new DK Drift King. He's got his girl. She seems happier. She has a little sparkle in her eye. And someone's come to visit that sees Han and his family, and it's none other than Dominic Toretto, who is apparently shipping his car across Asian countries because he's been racing all across Asia in his American muscle car.
In his fugitive state.
I'm like, is he still a fugitive? And he's just shipping his car? How is he paying for this?
You know, it's a criminal underworld. He's figuring it out.
I guess. And then we know, so that's the end of the movie. Now, but we know that as this series goes on, that they retcon this so that this is now not happening after the events of 2. It's happening somewhere between maybe 5, 6, or 7.
Yes, and Jason Statham is responsible.
Oh, yeah,
Hobbs,
he's one. Yeah,
Hobbs or Shaw?
actually,
which one is he?
He's Shaw.
And he is responsible for the accident that Han gets into.
Because of his brother.
And then... and then do they not also retcon that, like, Han doesn't die?
No, I think he definitely dies.
No, they retcon that, like, he comes back. Like, it's like a fake, like, it's a fake out.
Okay.
We've never watched that.
I've never seen it. I thought that was interesting because, so we're saying that this has happened so far in the future that I'm like, well, then how old is Han even now? Because he's hanging out with high schoolers and you think he's maybe graduated 3 years ago. Now I'm like, what, did he graduate 13? Like, he's so fucking old and just hanging around these kids. So,
yeah.
But I like that they retconned it, I guess, in the sense of, Han is a cool character, and I guess I'm looking forward to Fast 10 when we get there and seeing that it was a what is it now? 18-year fake out. That's
you pull
cool.
the mask off and it's someone else.
That's really cool. That's very Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall takeaways.
Okay, overall takeaways are that I felt like, despite all of the problems with how terrible his accent was, I thought his delivery in acting was actually stronger than Paul Walker's.
Definitely. It's not a hard. It's not a long line though.
So coming into this franchise in the 3rd film, no one's expecting much, but you're getting an awesome director and a cool premise. I thought Lucas Black did a decent enough job where I was buying the fact that, like, not that you're a high school student, but that you're a fucking idiot who just wants to get into trouble because you love racing so much for whatever reason. I've never really explained why he's obsessed with racing. No. But I'm sure at some point when they were drifting down the mountain, they were talking about, like, it makes me feel free or some shit like that, you know? Like, very predictable nonsense. The introduction of Han, game changer in this franchise. So I am glad that they obviously realized, like, Justin Lin knows how to direct a Fast and Furious movie. Han is a great character. So yeah, we're gonna pretend like Fast 4 or Fast 5 when we eventually bring all these bozos in Fast 4, maybe, I think, and 5. When we bring all these bozos together, we're gonna put it somewhere before we killed off the best character.
It's very true. So I did like that. I think, the acting from the main character was better. I still don't really like him. I don't know how to explain. Like, I'm not a fan in the way that I think we talked about this. It's like I don't follow his career and this. I know nothing about him, but there's just something about his
demeanor,
essence that I just like. It's a step below. Like, not like a step above not liking someone. Like, I don't think about him, but I'm like, I'm never gonna run to the theater and see a movie that he's in.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think there's a lot of classic movie tropes. You got your black goofy friend. At one point, he was selling Flava Flav style clocks on the street of Tokyo. I'm like, okay. You know, you got the girl that they're fighting over. She's caught in the middle. So, but overall, it wasn't. The races were interesting. I liked the drift.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It was a nice change of pace. I think adding drifting into the race world was at least fascinating.
And I think also, again, at the time this came out, you guys have to remember we have the first movie, We have what you think is just an offshoot of like, let's try to continue this paycheck for everyone, Too Fast, Too Furious, and it's actually so far been the best one. So when this one, so you have this one come out, and you think, okay, they're just keep using the name and trying to do something else, you know, like let's keep it going, keep getting paychecks for people, all right? This is a really double, triple offshoot, right? And then at the very end, we'll have Dominic Toretto show up and, you know, and then at some point they greenlighted a whole entire 7 other movies. Yeah. But we don't know, no one knows this is happening at the time. So you're just like seeing this. I mean, to me, it might even have been a direct-to-DVD movie, for all I remember. You know, like, I don't know if this came out in theaters. You think this was in theaters?
Yeah.
Well, it's a type that, it's giving, bring it on all or nothing, bring it on again, bring it on from the hood. It's like that type of series that when they're doing it, where it's like you never think that you're going to get back to the original transcripts. Yeah. You think that they're just going to keep doing random Fast and the Furious offshoots, the Fast and the Furious, Malaysian, Asian, Crasian. Like, you just don't know where it's going to go, and instead you get everything back together. And so at the time of this coming out, you just kind of feel that. But it is very good in the racing. Yeah. And the visualizations, I guess. Yeah.
I was really, so the next movie, I was like, do I remember this movie? And I think this is the last movie where it's like, they're starting to dabble more in the international realm, but they're keeping it still domestic, because I think it's just Mexico, U.S., where they're like basically coyotes, I think. Gal Gadot's in this fucking movie. I forgot that she's
in a lot of them. Yeah, she's in a lot of them. There's so many people. Like, you have Chris Hemsworth's wife in these movies. You have the full crew comes back. You know,
that's in 5. Kal-El.
I just mean that they start adding so many people that like you don't really need to track them that much, I guess.
And you know what? To be fair to Gal, this is probably the last time I liked her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch any of her movies. Yeah, because it's easy to believe that you'd fall in love with Han. Like, come on. Like, that's like hardly acting. 100%, like, I mean, no, it's getting real. So,
I mean, yeah, I also wasn't, but and that's the thing. I also wasn't looking for like the acting chops of the side character. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I want to know what Dom and Letty and Paul Walker are
and Mia getting back together looks like, and So, okay, that is exciting. So the next one is called,
I think it's Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Crazy naming sequence. Yeah, it has to be, because then after that's Fast 5.
And then it's Fast 5, which right now is my favorite. Because
that's Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Brazil, that's my favorite too. That's the only one that I can distinctly remember, not only the plot, but like, I guess the plot and like where they are. Like, after that, I just remember bits and pieces, and I'm like, I don't know if they have it in different movies, same movies, so...
That was one where I went and saw it in theaters, and I remember thinking like, oh, they're making these a good time. Yeah, like, this is meant to be a good effing time, Mission Impossible style, because now we've got The Rock is involved. They're using the locations, so they're doing a lot of chase scenes on foot in the favelas of Brazil.
Yeah, you're right.
And like, the action is crazy. They've broken the safe is destroying the city, Avengers style. Like, nothing's left, you know.
I love that.
So it was like, these are meant to be a good time. Whereas like, I don't know, you know. Anyways, so
I agree. That's my favorite one too. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, and then 6. I mean, that just really jumped the shark. So
again, I can't distinctly. I don't know which one the entire.
But whichever one Dominic
catches Letty, grabs Letty, twins in midair, lands on the car safely. Like, I mean, yes, that one is like,
I'm like, no, you've lost me. Because what are you, fucking Captain America?
I love it.
That's fucking crazy.
So it's like, okay, so I remember things that happen in the next series of movies, but Fast 5 is the only one I can distinctly remember the beginning, middle, and end of the plot of the single movie, and not mixed up with anything else.
A Brazilian politician is corrupt, holding money in a vault. They're going to take it.
Hobbs is after him. Yeah. So, but like, as a capsule, I can remember that film. Anything past that, I don't remember anything specifically.
I'm like, which one was Charlize Theron and Jason Statham in? I think it's 7.
Exactly.
Maybe 6. Maybe 6.
But then you also have someone come before Statham. This is his brother, which might be 6. That might be 6.
That might be 6.
That might be 7. And then 7 is Statham. And then 8 is Theron. So it's like, I don't remember, but I like it. But I just don't remember.
I don't remember what happened.
I feel like next, I like kind of doing one at a time. What are you thinking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see how Fast and Furious goes. Because I want to get to Fast 5, but I feel like we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah, so overall, so we talked about watching these again and how we really like the Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
I'll say I like this one the exact same amount I liked it the first time I saw it.
I would agree with
I
that.
don't put it any higher or lower.
No, I would agree that it's not the strongest. It's yet to be determined if it's the weakest because I haven't seen all of them.
Exactly.
But right now, it's the weakest.
We need some Roman Pierce level Oscar-worthy performances in the next one, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, number 2 is actually standing above.
It's so good.
I liked the setting a lot. The introduction of Ludacris was also really nice.
For sure.
And yeah, I think Roman Pierce as a character, hilarious.
So good.
So.
Okay. Well, fantastic.
All right. Well, Juneteenth is on Friday.
So today, if you're watching it.
And yeah, so today. And then next week we will, I don't know, do you want to get back into, you want to do Fast and Furious next week?
Let's do a regular episode.
Okay. We'll give you all a break between
We'll see.
the
We'll see how exciting
nonsensical.
our Juneteenth Father's Day plans are. And if we got nothing going on, we might have to be like, hey, surprise, Fast 4 is here. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, always fun watching these films with you.
It is.
I want to know if Tony Baker has ever reviewed Tokyo Drift. I would love to see the Tony Baker review of this.
I love this.
Because I wonder if he would also find the same things that we found ridiculous as ridiculous. Cool. Anywho, as always, stay pretty.
Stay prideful.
Especially if you're black, okay? It's Juneteenth up in here.
Happy Juneteenth, my people.
You can't finesse or finesse. No bitch, I move smart like a motherfucking Tesla. I'm clutching this Glock, do I look like a wrestler? Get put on your back, tryna act like a flexer. Hold on, wait, this Glock take him out like a date. She give me the pussy, I just want the face. Fuck her real good, put the bitch in her place. I'm high in the bitch, but my mind up in space.